welcome to another episode of the NFL Review Preview with me, Joe Knows. We're going to be reviewing the Week 11 NFL games and previewing the Week 12 games coming up. If it looks like I'm broadcasting from a basement in Afghanistan, it's because I'm on vacation right now with my family in California. I'm using equipment that I'm not really familiar with, so I'm trying to do the best that I can, including using my son's headphones and microphone here. So I hope you can hear me. I'm also trying to keep it low because everyone else is asleep, even though it's only around 10:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Everyone else is pretty much asleep, including my wife, who's like 20 feet away from me. So I gotta make this one quick. Well, let's check out the comment here. Josie, hey Josie, thanks for checking in again, buddy. I appreciate it. Josie was our big contributor in the chat in the show I did that ended about 20 minutes ago that I did with Rich. So Josie, thanks for showing up, buddy. So if you want to help me get through this, the review of last week's games and the preview of the upcoming games, I'd appreciate it, Josie. Let's do it together. So real quick before we get into the content, don't forget to give us that 5-star Apple review. Hit that like button. Hit that like button and subscribe. Why? Because we deserve it. Where you can follow the show: Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Podbean, and When a Family Breaks. Spotify and Facebook, where we have two pages. That is Toilets to Titles and When a Family Breaks, which is our page dedicated to the trading of sports memorabilia. Also, go to patreon.com /toilets to titles to find out how you could further support the show. Also, we have our new website that we launched August 1st. It's toiletstotitles.com. It has all of our videos, articles, tons of fantasy and NFL football content. Check it out. It is awesome. I'm really proud of our website. All right, let's get into the content. And let me get rid of that ticker. Okay, first game. Patriots defeated the Falcons 25-0. Now, when I do these reviews, I'm pretty much giving my own feeling about these games, about the results, what's going on here with these teams. Josie, sorry, I kind of made it run over a little. Probably left you with a little less time on this one, but hey, easy to get lost in some good old American football. Josie, it is easy to get lost in football, and I can talk football all day long. I love talking football, and that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm podcasting, even on vacation. So I'll tell you, Josie, I was trying to do I have a Sunday show that I do, Sunday morning show where I recap the college football games, and I do an updated preview on the NFL games for Sunday and Monday. And I was going to try to do my NCAA recap from the Rose Bowl because I was staying in Pasadena. So I was trying to do it live from the Rose Bowl, just outside of the Rose Bowl, not during a UCLA game, but just from outside the Rose Bowl, very early Sunday morning. And it didn't work out, but it would have been pretty cool. I was really looking forward to doing that, but I didn't plan it out well enough, and it didn't work out, so I should have planned better. But anyway, let's get into the content here. Okay, Patriots, Falcons, 25-0. Patriots shut out the Falcons. Patriots are looking really, really good. It's funny, last year, Brady was gone. He went to the Buccaneers. Patriots just only had a so-so year. Everyone was saying, not everyone, but a lot of people were saying that, without Brady, the Patriots, Belichick is kind of looking lost, and the Patriots are just going to be mediocre. The fact is that the team needed to rebuild a little bit, especially without their quarterback, the GOAT, not playing for them anymore. Well, they got themselves a really good young quarterback in Mac Jones, and the Patriots are playing solid football. Of course, it doesn't hurt when you're led by probably the greatest head coach of all time, and certainly the greatest defensive mind of all time in Bill Belichick. So the Patriots are looking strong. They've been rolling since the middle of the season. They've been looking better and better. They're looking solid. They took care of the Falcons like they should have, but hey, 25-0, a shutout. They pitched a shutout here, and that is really impressive. So I'll tell you, these Patriots, I think they're going to make the playoffs this year, and they're looking good. Give them another year or two, and they're going to be great. So I don't think they're going to win the NFC East this year. I still think it's going to be the Bills, but the Patriots are starting to breathe down their necks. And, you have to give a lot of kudos to Belichick and the Patriots. They're looking good. Josie would have been very cool. Yeah, stuff happens, man. Like Taylor, 5 touchdowns on Buffalo. I'm with you, Josie. Jonathan Taylor was my hero for one of my leagues because I had Jonathan Taylor, and only one of my leagues. but he gave me like 100 fantasy points, so that was awesome. So, um, okay, let's move on to the next game here. And I can't really go again. I can't really go into details. I do have to keep this kind of short this time, this episode. So I can't really go into box scores and talk about individual performances. Like I said, I got to make this show kind of quick. The Colts defeated the Bills 41-15. This is a game I want to brag a little bit. I actually predicted not a blowout, but I did take the Colts in this game over the Bills, as far as I recall. I took them, the Colts, at least getting the points over the Bills. And I'm not surprised. The Colts have had a really tough schedule. They've had some tough losses. They've had some really tough good wins. They had some tough losses, close games against really good teams. Uh, Against the Titans, I think 2 losses against the Titans, as well as 1 loss against the Ravens. Those 3 games they could have went either way. Unfortunately, the Colts had the rug pulled out from them all 3 games. Again, the Colts have had a really tough schedule and they've made it through. They're like what I think 6-5 now, and I think the Colts look like one of the most solid teams in the AFC. They're looking really, really good. They've got a very good defense. Jonathan Taylor is a beast. Um, Carson Wentz is looking better and better every single week in Indianapolis, like I thought he would. I was grateful when he was drafted, not drafted, when he was traded out of the NFC East. I thought Carson Wentz getting him out of there, getting to Indianapolis, which is a solid team with a solid head coach, I thought it would do wonders for him, and I've been right about that. I think the Colts' Achilles heel this year is not having a true wide receiver one. Michael Pittman is much better than I actually thought he'd be. He's having a really good year, but I still don't think he is a wide receiver one, and I think that's going to be wind up being their Achilles heel. I do think the Colts are going to make the playoffs, and I think they're a very, very dangerous team. And I was not surprised that they beat the Bills because I do think they're a slightly better team than the Bills. I think they're evenly matched. The Bills also have a good defense. The Bills have a great young quarterback in Josh Allen. Obviously, they've got a good wide receiving core headed by a true wide receiver one in Stephon Diggs, but the Bills do not have a true running back. I think Singletary is actually a good complement to if they actually had a running back one. I think Singletary would be a good complement to that. But they've got Zach Moss, and Zach Moss is nothing better than a backup running back. He's not a leading running back, and that is the Bills' Achilles heel. So both of these teams, they each have their own Achilles heel. But I thought the Colts would beat the Bills. The Bills, you look at their schedule, they really haven't beaten anyone good, as far as I recall. I think the only team, I know they beat Kansas City in Kansas City early this year, and you always have to give credit to anyone who beats Kansas City in Kansas City. I know the Chiefs aren't having a great year, but still, to go into Kansas City and beat them at home, that's impressive. The Bills did that. I think they did actually have another a win against another pretty good opponent. It might have been the Chargers. I don't remember. But a lot of the teams that the Bills have built their winning record on this year have been really bad teams, like the Dolphins, I think, like the Jets, and teams like that, like really bad teams. But the Colts, like I said, they've been battle tested this entire season, and I wasn't shocked that the Colts won at all. I thought they would. I am surprised by that blowout, but the Colts did win, and good for the Colts. Okay, moving on to the next game. Ravens defeated the Bears 16-13. Definitely a lot closer than I thought it would be. I'm a little worried about the Ravens because they've weathered a lot of injuries this year, and it may be showing up now. But you know what? You can never count out the Ravens. They're a well-coached team. They always have a next man up mentality, and then you can just never count the Ravens out. You can never count them out. And hey, whatever. It was a close game that happens. And they played down to their opponent. But listen, can't count the Ravens out. But I'm a little worried about the Ravens now. I have to admit. The Browns defeated the Lions 13-10. I've got nothing against the Browns. The Browns are actually one of my backup teams. If you don't know, I am actually a New York Giants fan, unfortunately, I guess. And the Browns are one of my backup teams that I also root for. But I was hoping the Lions would get their first win of the season. Alas, it didn't happen. But the Browns took care of business here, 13-10. And there is a possibility, as we all probably know, Nick Chubb did play this past week. He didn't put up a touchdown, but he had I think he had over 120 yards on the ground, which is great. And there's a chance that Kareem Hunt will be back this week, and it's not definite. So you want to check his availability on Sunday morning. But there's a chance that Kareem Hunt does play this week. So you want to check that out. But the Browns took care of business, 13-10 against the Lions. And the Texans, the big upset of the week. The Texans defeated the Titans 22-13. Now, the Titans for the previous 2 weeks had, got wins, I believe, without Derrick Henry, which is kind of surprising, especially given some of the opponents they went against. But I was wondering how long that's going to last because their offense really is based. It runs through Derrick Henry. But a loss to the Titans, that is shocking because not the Titans, I'm sorry, the Titans lost to the Texans. That is shocking, even without Derrick Henry, because the Texans are probably the worst team in football. I realize they actually have 2 wins now. That's 2 more wins than the Lions have, but I actually think the Lions are better. But the Texans, to their credit, they do have 2 wins, and they took care of business against the Titans here. A.J. Brown, he's had a shitty year. I'm really down on A.J. Brown. I believe he got injured again in this game too. I don't know. I don't remember if he left the game at all for a period of time. But A.J. Brown's not having a good year. So the Titans are trying to piece things together here. But I love their head coach in Vrabel, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have a bounce back win next week. We'll check out their schedule in a little while. We're going to check out the Week 12 games and my preview of those games, at least my predictions for those games. But the Texans pulled a big upset this week against the Titans, 22-13, and the Titans better watch out because they do have 2 wins under their belt against the Colts, who's in their division. But the Colts, I think, are up to 6 wins now, and the Colts are playing really, really well. And the Titans better watch out because if the Colts keep steamrolling along, they could wind up swiping that division from the Titans. So the Titans better be a little careful there. The Vikings defeated the Packers 34-31. This is a game I actually predicted. I had a feeling the Vikings were going to defeat the Packers 34. I had a feeling the Vikings were going to win this game, and they did. They pulled out. It was a good close win, 34-31. I tell you, Vikings are another team, just like the Colts, who've had a very, very hard schedule. And if you look at the Vikings' schedule this year, they've been in every single game, even their losses they've had. And they've had losses to some really good teams. And the Vikings have been in each of those games, but the Vikings are the Vikings. And you look at the results of those losses, and it's kind of like, hey, it's the difference between being a winning team and a losing team. The Vikings have always lacked that winning factor. They don't have that it thing about them. But they get the win here against the Packers, which I'm sorry, I was surprised by that. I'm sorry. I don't have my last week's picks in front of me like I normally do. I think I took the Vikings maybe getting the points. I don't remember, but I probably wound up picking the Packers to win outright because the Packers normally take care of business, and the Packers are having a great year, but it was the Vikings who took care of business. So good for the Vikings. Good for the Vikings because they are a good team, and they have a really potent offense, a really well-balanced offense. And let me check out the comment over here. Josie, Indiana, here we go, Colts. Josie, if you're a Colts fan, I'm with you, man. I'm not a Colts fan myself. I'm a Giants fan, like I said, unfortunately. But I loved the trade for Carson Wentz. I thought getting him out of Philadelphia into Indiana and pairing him with Frank Reich was a great move. And he's still a young quarterback. Who's, had some really good performances in his career under his belt. So I thought it was a good move, and the Colts are looking really good. Really, really good, man. I like them a lot. I've liked them a lot, Jose. I've liked the Colts for the entire season. I was a believer in them for the entire season, even when they were getting some tough losses in the beginning of the year against like the Titans and the Ravens. I still believe in the Colts. I did, and it's, I'm proven to be right about that. So, because I'm a football genius. Okay, Dolphins took care of business against the Jets, 24-17. Not much to say about that. Dolphins have been playing better football. They have been playing better football, so I'm glad to see that. Dolphins are one of my other backup teams, actually. And Dolphins have been playing better football, especially that win, 2 weeks ago against the Ravens. What an upset. What a crazy game that was. But, hey, the Dolphins got their win, I think the second win in a row. And this time it was against the Jets, so good for the Dolphins. I'm rooting for them. Eagles defeated the Saints 40-29. I think I took the Eagles in this game. I'm not, as I've been saying all season long, I'm not on the Saints bandwagon. The defense is very, very good. I think the offense is horrible. Even with James Winston, I thought it was horrible. A lot of the points they were getting was really a product of the defense getting the ball back with a short field. They have no wide receivers with Michael Thomas being out. And I'm sorry, I don't care about Marquez Callaway. I think he's nothing really better than a number three wide receiver on a very good team. And really, all they have is Kamara, who's awesome. I love Alvin Kamara, but that's all they have. And I'm not. And they also have the great mind of Sean Payton. Okay, uh, other than Kamara and Payton and their really good defense, I'm not buying into the Saints. I'm not buying into them. And you know what? The thing about the Eagles is the Eagles always play tough. I wasn't surprised they won this game. The Eagles, people don't want to give them credit. They're a tough team. The Eagles don't lay down for anyone. They're a tough team. And Jalen Hurts is having a really good year. No one seems to want to give him any type of credit. I don't care if it's because if people say he's not like a good passer, I'm not sure. I haven't watched him play. All I know is I look at the box score and Jalen Hurts is putting up points and yardage and running all over the place, and he's getting the job done for a team that, quite frankly, isn't all that talented anymore. But see, the Eagles get another win. They're having a definitely better season than most people thought they would have, and good for Jalen Hurts. I say good for Jalen Hurts, and they took care of the Saints. And like I said, I'm not on the Saints bandwagon. Have not been at all this season. I'm not surprised by this result. Washington defeated the Panthers 27-21. Washington's been getting some wins recently. They're looking better. Panthers is still kind of like these are two mediocre teams. They're two mediocre teams. I was surprised that Washington only, as of like 2 weeks ago, only had 2 wins. They're better than that. I think they're up to 4 wins now with this win against the Panthers. But listen, I'm not saying Washington's making the playoffs, but they're playing more of what we would have expected them to play like entering this season. So they took care of business against the Panthers 27-21. And that was with Cam Newton starting and a healthy McCaffrey. And Washington still took care of business there. 49ers defeated the Jaguars 30-10. I'm not going to really, not much to say about this game. I'm not a believer in the 49ers, and Jaguars have a long way to go. But, and that's it on that game. Bengals defeated the Raiders 32-13. The Raiders are reeling. They're not looking good. As like Rich said on on his show a little while ago, ever since the Raiders played the Giants, the Raiders have kind of been reeling, and they're not looking good. But listen, honestly, they also went through a lot with their head coach, being fired or pushed out, rightfully so. Um, Henry Ruggs, what happened with Henry Ruggs and that horrible accident that he was responsible for, and the death of the young woman that he was responsible for. That's just kind of stuff that it's hard to move past that. But also, let's be honest too. And like I said before, I'm a Giants fan, but I have some teams that are my backup teams, and the Raiders are my number one backup team. But the Raiders, even on paper, are like they're kind of like a 500 team. They're kind of like a mediocre team, and I think they're kind of like they were playing well in the beginning of the season. They were. We have to give them credit, and the defense was looking pretty good throughout most of the year. But the Raiders are reeling right now. I think they're starting to be exposed by the amount of their weaknesses with their holes. And I think it's nothing more than that. I do think Derek Carr is a good quarterback. I think Waller is obviously like a top 3 tight end in the league. And I do like Renfro. I don't think Renfro's a number one wide receiver, but I think he's a really good asset to have. I think he's kind of like a Sterling Shepard or a Sterling Shepard light. He's a savvy route runner who finds open spaces in zone defense. And the guy knows what he's doing. He's a smart, savvy receiver, but that's not enough. It's not enough. And, the Bengals have enough young talent, especially on offense, that you're going to have to start trying to keep up with a team like that. And the Raiders, it's going to be tough for them. It's going to be tough for them. So let me check out the comments here. Agreed. Yeah. I agree, Josie. No one seems to want to give Jalen Hurts any type of credit. And hey, man, he's not playing with the best roster either. I mean, and I do like Devonta Smith. I believe in Devonta Smith, but I think something else that's been helping the Eagles out too is that they have been establishing their run game really, really well over the past like 4 or 5 weeks. Um, The Eagles have been establishing the run very well, and that's been contributing. They've actually been had another component of their offense. They've had actually had another component of their offense that's been able to help Jalen Hurts out. Jalen Hurts was doing everything for that crappy offense for the entire season until like 5 weeks ago when they actually started running their asses off. And the Eagles are doing a great job of that. Um, and Josie says, I think Carr is real. Uh, off game, off game versus Washington. I don't think I understand that one. I think Carr is real. I'm not sure if he's Josie. I'm not sure if you're saying that you think Carr is real, as in like he's real good, or if he's off his game versus Washington. Get back to me on that one, Josie. I mean, we definitely, a lot of things that can be debated about Carr. I do think he's a good quarterback who needs better talent around him. Listen, he's not Aaron Rodgers, I guess, or Mahomes, but even though, in terms of like, being elevate other players, but even those guys have, hey, Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams, Patrick Mahomes has Tyreek Hill and, and Travis Kelsey. So, Carolina. Hmm. Yeah, Josie, I'm not sure what you were saying there regarding Carr. Oh, you think Carolina is real? I'm sorry, I got you, Josie. You think Carolina is real off game versus Washington? You know what, Josie? I think Carolina is developing nicely. I think they're a building team. I didn't buy into when they were 3-0. A lot of people were I thought they were being hyped up too much. I wasn't trying to take anything away from them. I just thought they were being hyped up too much. And to be quite frank, I mean, ever since they got off to that really nice start this year, they did suffer quite a few key injuries, especially when McCaffrey went down for an extended period of time. And I think they also lost their rookie cornerback for this season, their number one draft pick. Um, I think he's out for the year, and he was having I forgot his name right now, but he was having a really nice year. But Carolina's defense is looking pretty good. They are, and listen, I do think they need to get whoever their quarterback is going to be. They do need to get him a true wide receiver one. But I do think, Josie, I do think Carolina is a pretty good team. I just thought, I thought the bandwagon was a little too big for Carolina in the beginning of the year. I thought people were going a little too crazy. But I like the direction that Carolina is trending, and I think they're building very, very, very smart. And I think they have like two draft classes in a row the past 2 years that were very good. I do. And so I think Carolina is building. I'm with you, Josie. I think Carolina is building a very good, well balanced team. I'm just not there. I don't think they're a playoff team this year. And I don't think they are this year. I'll stand by that. But I think they're a good, balanced team. They're building well. I like it. Carolina. Okay, so we did Bengals, Raiders. Chiefs defeated the Cowboys. That shocked the crap out of me. 19-9. I guess it shouldn't be a shock. I think this game was in Kansas City. It seems like every game is in Kansas City, to be honest. It seems like every Chiefs game is in Kansas City. I think this one was in Kansas City too. Maybe I'm wrong, but I still picked the Cowboys. I think it was in Kansas City, and I still picked the Cowboys to win this game big time against the Chiefs. I thought the Cowboys were going to stomp all over them. Got to give credit to the Chiefs. Chiefs defense has actually been playing better for the past few weeks, and this is proof of it. They have to show that they can keep it up, but this is proof of it. Holding the Cowboys to 19 points, man, that means something. That definitely means something. So I know this is the Cowboys offense that isn't fully loaded right now. I get that, but still, this is a team that can still run the crap out of the ball, and they were still held to 9 points. The Cowboys were still held to 9 points. That's impressive. That is impressive. So Chiefs are being the Chiefs. I think they're up to 6-4 now, if I recall correctly. Um, and I still believe the Cowboys are one of the top teams in the NFL. I do. And if they can get Cooper back and a CD Lamb, and I think they're going to be fine. I really don't. They certainly have nothing to worry about when it comes to the NFC East. But if the Cowboys can make it to the playoffs healthy, I think they're as good as anyone. I think their offense is as good as any other team's offense out there in the NFL, possibly better. They may have the best offense in the NFL, in my opinion. That is the Cowboys when they're healthy, and I think their defense is good enough. I don't think it's great, but I want to give the credit too. I think it's good. So when I say good enough, I don't want to make it sound like it's No, I think the Cowboys defense is good. Could be better, but it's good. And let me get Josie. Let me get on to one more game real quick. Then I'll go to your comment. Cardinals defeated the Seahawks 23-13. This was backup quarterback again. McCoy, I believe, was the quarterback for the Cardinals. They defeated the reeling Seahawks, who just stink coming into the season. I did not believe in the Seahawks anyway. Yeah, they've got Russell Wilson and they've got Metcalf. They've got Metcalf and they've got Lockett, and that's it. Their defense stinks. Their O line is not very. It might be a little better than last year, but it's not all that great. And they lost their number one running back. Well, actually, you know what? I think he's back now, or is he down for the year? Either way, I was never a big fan of their running backs anyway. I think Carson's pretty good, pretty good. I don't think he's great. This isn't Derrick Henry we're talking about here. Uh, but I'm just not. I was never on the Seahawks train. The Seahawks second half of the year last year scared the crap out of me, and I did not think it was a fluke. They had a really bad second half of the year last year. I didn't think it was a fluke, and I knew they didn't have the salary cap or the draft picks to address a lot of holes this past offseason, and it's showing. It's showing, and they're having. I think the Seahawks have 3 wins so far this year, I believe. They're having a horrible year, and I'm not surprised at all. The Seahawks are really bad. They're really bad. And the Cardinals stopped all over them, I believe, even with their backup quarterback. And we go to comment there. You did too offensively. Still solid D. So Josie's talking about Carolina, but it has been a little offbeat. Got Cam back. Um, he gets it back together, lose the playoffs. Also, Josie thinks the Panthers are going to go to the playoffs. Josie, it's not crazy. It's not crazy at all. They're in the thick of things. They are in the thick of things. I still think I still think Carolina is a few pieces away from being a playoff team, but they did have a really good start to their season. That gave them like 4 wins to start the season off with. And listen, Josie, I wouldn't be shocked if I would be shocked if Carolina makes the playoffs. I'm not picking them to do that. I don't think they will, but I don't think it would be crazy if they made the playoffs either. I still think they need a little ways to go. Probably next year, I think they would. I would definitely have them as a solid pick to make the playoffs if they could get a really good wide receiver. But like I said, I think Carolina is building very, very well and very smart. I like the way their rebuild is going, if you will. I think Carolina is looking good. And I'm rooting for Cam Newton. I'm glad he's back in Carolina. I am. And hopefully he finishes this year strong and he's back with Carolina next year. Because I like that he's back in Carolina. It's kind of like the world feels right with Cam back, back in Carolina. If Cam were retired, that's something else. But that he was out there and he still wants to play, and he should still play. I think he could still play, even if he's not Cam Newton 2016. The guy can still play as long as he wants to play. I still want to see him in Carolina. So hopefully Cam, gets better and better the rest of the year as he gets acclimated to the offense. And Josie, you're not crazy. It's not crazy. Carolina could make the playoffs. I'm betting against them. I'm betting against them. But you know what? You're not crazy when you say that you think Carolina is going to make the playoffs, Josie. Not at all. Not at all. They're a solid team. They're a solid team. Okay, let's go over here. Chargers defeated the Steelers 41-37. In hindsight, I'm actually kind of surprised that this game was even that close given how many injuries the Steelers have. And I'm someone who's actually on the Steelers kind of like bandwagon all this, pretty much most of this year, only because the Steelers do have a lot of talent, in their passing game. Not their quarterback, even though you have to give credit to Roethlisberger in that he's an experienced quarterback who's seen it all. So he's savvy, he's smart, even though he doesn't have the arm talent anymore. But he does have good wide receivers, pretty good wide receivers. He's got a good young running back, a decent offensive line, and a very strong defense, and a very well coached team. I believe in the Steelers. I believe in that organization. I love their coaching. They always have this team prepared almost pretty much every single year. That's why it's always hard for me to count the Steelers out. But I was happy to see the Chargers get this win because they needed to win badly. Chargers not having the year that I guess maybe many of us thought they would. But this is a good win against a really tough opponent that the Chargers got here against the Steelers, 41-37. I gotta say, I'm surprised that the Steelers actually put up 37 points, given that Roethlisberger is really old. I think Schuster, I think, is out for the year, even though he hasn't been much of a factor, to be honest with you. But the Steelers defense letting up 41 points, I think it's an indication of, that's clear they've got a lot of key injuries on their defense, the Steelers, that is. Buccaneers defeated my Giants 30-10. What a shit show. Disgusting. Giants, you know what? Jason Garrett's gone now. He really, listen, some people, listen, a lot of us are happy that he's gone. He should be gone. I don't hate the guy. I have no animosity. I always thought it was a bad match from the beginning. I never thought he should be the offensive coordinator for the Giants. I thought it was just a bad match. Not with the type of talent they have, and the lack of talent too. The lack of talent, especially on the offensive line. But the type of talent they have, I did not think was a match for Jason Garrett type offense to begin with. But it looked even worse and incompetent than I ever thought could be possible. And I actually, listen, some people are saying, "Oh, Jason Garrett's a scapegoat." He's not a scapegoat. He's part of the problem. He is part of the problem. The players are certainly part of the problem. The quarterback is part of the problem. The head coach is a big part of the problem. The way I see it, this is actually Joe Judge's offense that he wants, and Jason Garrett is trying to scheme within that offense. But that being said, I don't know what the hell Jason Garrett was scheming. I don't even know what the hell. Giant fans, I'm 50 years old. I've been watching football for 40 years. I've been watching Giants football for 40 years as well. And I don't even know what the hell I've been looking at for the past year and a half with Jason Garrett as offensive coordinator. But I also know this is the type of offense that Joe Judge wanted. This move should have been made sooner. Anyway, I guess maybe I'm going on too much about the Giants, but that was an absolute shit show. Buccaneers, I still think the Buccaneers, even before they destroyed my Giants, even before they took the pedal off the metal, even they took even when they took the pedal off the metal, even before that, in the fourth quarter, they put in their backups, including their backup quarterback, and they took it easy on the Giants in the fourth quarter. I still felt like coming to this game, I felt like the Buccaneers are still the team to beat in this league. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. They're loaded with talent on both sides of the ball. Even though the defense is looking not so great, they're still loaded on talent on both sides of the ball. You've got the greatest quarterback in history still at the helm, and you're loaded with weapons and offense. I still think the Buccaneers are the team to beat, and this is probably the game that gets them right again, because the Buccaneers were looking sloppy there the past few weeks. But I'm telling you, teams like the Chiefs, 2 weeks ago, they beat the Giants, and all of a sudden they're looking really good again. The Buccaneers, they beat the Giants. They're probably going to look like killers again. The Giants are the team that roll in. The other teams get that easy win, and they start looking good again. They start rolling again. So, but that game was an absolute catastrophe for the Giants. There was nothing good about that game whatsoever, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And I have to start. You know what? For Toilets and Titles, I really need to start my own Giants programs, Giants-centric programs, called Toilets to Titles, Giants Corner or something. But I really need to start talking Giants football a lot more, 2 or 3 times a week or something. Anyway, let's get into the NFL, my picks for Week 12 of the NFL season with the point spread and straight up. So tomorrow's games. I love Thanksgiving. We got 3 games. Okay, we're starting off with the Bears at the Lions. Hang on one second. Okay, Bears at the Lions. The Bears are given 3 points. I'm gonna take the Lions. I'm gonna take the Lions getting the 3 points, and I'm gonna take the Lions straight up to get their first win. I'm gonna try to do this real quick because I gotta wrap this up. Second game is the Raiders at the Cowboys. The Raiders are giving 7. I'm sorry. Dallas is giving 7.5 points. This is tough because the Raiders have been reeling, but the Cowboys are also very banged up on offense. But I'm going to take Dallas straight up, and I'm going to take Dallas giving the 7.5 points. Okay, the Thursday night game, the Thanksgiving Day night game, Bills at the Saints. The Bills are giving 6.5 points. This is a tough one. I was just saying how I'm not a fan of the Saints. of their talent overall. I think their defense is good, but I'm not a fan of their talent overall. But the game is in New Orleans. It's a primetime game, Thanksgiving. That's tough. But you know what? I'm going to take the Bills straight up, and I'm going to take the Bills giving the 6.5. Okay, moving on to the Sunday games. Steelers at the Bengals. Cincinnati's giving 4.5 points. The Steelers are pretty banged up. It's in Cincinnati. I'm going to take the Bengals giving the points and the Bengals straight up. Buccaneers at the Colts. This is a really good game. This is probably the game of the week. The Buccaneers are giving 3 points in Indianapolis, and I've been promoting the Colts all season long, but I think the Buccaneers are about to get hot, and I'm going to take the Buccaneers giving the 3 points and the Buccaneers straight up. Like I said, the Colts have had a really, really hard schedule this year, and this is indicative of that. But you know what? I think that it's going to be a really good game. I think this is probably the game of the week. I'm going to take the Buccaneers, though, giving the 3 points in Indianapolis, and I'll take the Buccaneers straight up. Panthers at the Dolphins. Carolina's given 2 points. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the Carolina. I'm going to take the Panthers giving 2 points and the Panthers straight up. Titans at the Patriots. Man. Okay, so Titans at the Patriots. New England is giving 7 points. Damn. This is a game I definitely have to revisit again on Sunday morning. As of right now, the Sunday morning, I also do my updated picks for the NFL games. This could very well change Sunday morning. As of right now, I'm going to go with the Patriots. No, no. As of right now, I'm going to go with the Titans getting the points, and I'll go with the Patriots straight up. That could very well change Sunday morning. I got to think more about that one. Okay, Philadelphia at the Giants. Philadelphia is giving 3.5 points. You know what? I'm gonna take the Giants in this game. I'm gonna take the Giants. I'm gonna take the Giants getting the points and the Giants straight up to win. Let's see. Okay, Falcons at the Jaguars. Falcons are giving 2 points. No, you know what? They're giving 2 points. I'm taking the Jaguars getting the points, and I'm taking the Jaguars getting the upset. So I'm taking the Jaguars getting the points and the Jaguars straight up to win. Jets at the Texans. Ooh, you know what? Houston's giving 2.5 points. I'm going to take the Jets getting the points and the Jets straight up. Chargers at the Broncos. Chargers are giving 2.5 at Denver. Uh, I'll, I'll go with the Chargers. I'll go with the Chargers giving the 2.5 points, and I'll go with the Chargers straight up. Rams at the Packers. Yeah, Rams are giving a point. You know what? I'm going to take the Packers getting the point, and I'm going to take the Packers straight up. This game is in Green Bay. It's the Rams giving a point in Green Bay. I'm going to take the Packers. I'm going to take the Packers getting that point and the Packers straight up. Vikings at the 49ers. Uh, the 49ers are giving 3 points. I'm going to take the Vikings getting the points and the Vikings straight up. So again, it's Vikings at the 49ers. The 49ers are giving 3 points. I'm going to take the Vikings getting the points and the Vikings straight up. I'll tell you, I think if the Vikings win this game, I think they got a really good chance to make the playoffs. Okay, so the Sunday night game is the Browns at the Ravens. Baltimore is giving 3.5 points. As of right now, I'm going to take the Ravens giving the points and the Ravens straight up. That could change depending upon if Kareem Hunt is playing. So I'm going to have to definitely revisit that pick Sunday morning when I do my revised picks on my Sunday morning program. But as of right now, I'm going to take Baltimore giving the 3.5 points and Baltimore straight up. And then the Monday night game, Seahawks at Washington. Washington's giving a point. I'm gonna go with Washington giving the point and Washington straight up to win. And the two teams that have the bye this week are the Chiefs and the Cardinals. And that's it, folks. That's a wrap for this episode here. 3 comments. Let me check it out on over here. Josie, I don't understand the Giants. They have talent. O-line is terrible. I actually like Jones. Slowly looking out, slowly losing faith. I think he's saying, well, he says, Josie says regarding Jones, slowly looking faith. Um, but why so inconsistent? Well, I like Daniel Jones a lot myself, Josie. I defend the guy. I really do. I think he's a good quarterback. And people say that, a lot of excuses are made for him. I don't think that's the case at all. There's a lot that's been where, for a long time, he didn't really have the best weapons around him. Certainly didn't have a good offensive line. And yet, he was doing, I thought, pretty well considering, especially his rookie year, considering the lack of nothing, of very little that he had around him. Now he's got talent around him. I know Barkley is not good, whatever, he's still injured, he's just not good or whatever, but he's got good wide receiving talent. That's the question, Josie. What the F is going on? What the F is going on? Things don't look right, and I don't think it has anything to do with Daniel Jones. He's not blameless, but I don't think he's the problem at all. Um, and Giants fans, we don't understand what's going on either. All we know is that we look at the offense and it's a total mess. 2 years ago, Daniel Jones's rookie year under Pat Shermer, Daniel Jones looked very good. His problem at that time was were the ridiculous amount of fumbles that he was having, which you can't have. But that was his only problem. Other than that, the dude was putting up touchdowns. And he was putting up like 2 touchdown games, 3 touchdown games, he even had a 4 touchdown game. He was looking very good for a rookie quarterback, especially for a guy who all of his weapons were injured around him, all of them, and I mean all of them. And they weren't even all that great to begin with, to be honest with you. But you know what? I'm going to start a Giants podcast because I'm a Giants fan. When I say podcast, I mean I'm going to start a Giants program here at Toilets and Titles, and I'm going to talk about the Giants like 2 or 3 times a week, just because I want to. I love the Giants and I love talking about them. And I'm pretty well known, I think, in the Giants podcasting community. I go on shows all the time, in the chats at least, and people are familiar with me. So I really want to start talking Giants football. Yeah, Josie, yeah, Josie's starting a Giants rebuild on Madden. Go for it, Josie. Go for it. Go for it. Trying to make Jones an X factor. Go for it. Listen, I love Daniel Jones, but like I said, not blameless. I'm not drinking Kool-Aid. I just think the guy has the talent. But people say, oh, we're sick of hearing excuses. They're not excuses. They're explanations. This guy's had no consistency around him. He's had no consistency around him. Whether it's O-line, weapons, even weapons when they're good, they've been injured. The coaching, none of it's been consistent. Okay, Dallas spread. Oh, okay, Josie's saying Dallas spread, Detroit money line. Um, I forgot I can put the comments up here. I'm such a neophyte at this stuff. Dallas spread to Detroit money line. Don't remember New Orleans Buffalo spread, but Buffalo wins. I'm taking over on all. Okay, so Josie's taking the over on all of these. I like it, Josie. I like it. I like it. See, Josie, me myself, that's cool. I always keep it to the spreads. I like giving points, getting points. But I don't do over under myself. But that's cool. Josie Jenkins saying, Josie's taking is taking the over on all these games. I like it, Josie. I like it. Taylor's the first back to actually run and not only catch against Tampa Bay. Still pick Tampa Bay, even though it kills me too. Yeah, it's tough, man. Hey, listen, Tampa Bay is just a really good, well-balanced team, and they got Brady, man. Brady. The thing with Brady, which the Giants couldn't do, the Giants are on a good team. They're not a good defense anyway. Is that you got to get to Brady. You got to get in his face, especially up the middle. Especially up the middle. Um, and it's not a guarantee you're going to win, but you got to disrupt him. You have to disrupt him. And maybe the Colts can do that. Maybe the Colts can do that. So we'll see. But I don't think I don't think the Buccaneers are unbeatable. But I still do think they are the best team in the league. And to me, all season long, they've been my number one ranked team. Period. And until they're beaten in the playoffs, then I'll believe that they're not the best team this year. But Tampa Bay is just such a talented team. But Josie, I like the Colts a lot. I really do. I think they're a really good, well-balanced team. And I like Frank Reich, and I love that move. I love that move for Carson Wentz in the offseason. I thought it was the right move, the perfect team for him. Perfect team. It's such a good match, isn't it? The Colts and Carson Wentz. It's been such a good match, Josie. I really like it a lot. I do. And I like your emblem. I like the blue horseshoes. I think it's so cool. It's nice and clean and crisp and simple. I like it a lot. Um, Add me on Facebook, Josie Tucker. Josie Tucker. Pick is my back. Is my picture is my back of a beagle jacket. I like it. I like it. Josie, I'll get you on Facebook. Sounds good to me. You get me on Facebook. I like that, Josie. It sounds good. But listen, I'm out here, Josie. Thanks for being in here. 2 shows in a row, and especially being thank you for being here on my show. I especially appreciate it that you're on my show. But thanks for doing back to back shows. I thought I was a trooper doing back to back shows tonight. As a content creator. But here's Josie coming in, being our number one fan in the chat. Josie, I should say, our only fan in the chat today. So my millions of other fans are just not in the chat today. That's all. But Josie popped in. Josie, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Josie, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. All right. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Enjoy those football games. Like you, I can watch and talk football all the time. And yeah, your co-host Justin is my friend. That's what I figured. I figured you said you're a Colts fan and you were watching the show, so I figured you're friends with Justin. Absolutely, Justin's a great guy, and I'll find you through Justin. I've got Justin on Facebook. I'll hit you up, Josie. I will. But Justin Stevens is a great guy, and I love working with him. He's really great. So, and I'm rooting. That's another reason why I'm rooting for the Colts too. Is that I root for the Colts because I like Justin, but I like the Colts too. Just going back to Peyton Manning. I love Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's awesome. He was such a great quarterback, classy guy, and so how can you not be a fan of Peyton Manning? And I love that guy. And I like Andrew Luck a lot too. I really do. So, but I like your head coach, Frank Reich. I like the team that you guys have. You got a really good, solid team. You built your team right. You got a really nice offensive line. You got a really good defense. Now you got a kick-ass running back. And you got a really kick-ass. You got a gamer. Let me tell you something. You got a gamer in Carson Wentz. And you ask Justin, he'll tell you. When he and I first started talking, when he and Coach first invited me to come on to Toilets and Titles earlier this year, like in the spring, Justin and I were talking. I told him, I said, listen, I love that move for Wentz. And, Justin liked it too. I backed it up. I said, I love it. I think it's great. You got yourself a good quarterback. I'm glad he's out of the NFC East because he wasn't the problem in Philadelphia. It was, the front office was the problem in Philadelphia, and also that the team got old. And that happens. That happens. Good teams get old, and it's hard to keep pace. But he went to a really good organization. Yeah, thanks for staying late. Happy Thanksgiving, Nick Moon, my man. You too, Josie. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Josie, I'm out of here. Take care. Have a good night. I'll see you. Josie, I'll see you. Hopefully I'll see you Sunday morning. My Sunday morning show, it's Cup of Joe. I recap the college football games from Saturday, and then I give my updated predictions for the Sunday and Monday NFL games. If you can be in there, great. If not, totally cool. But I usually start around 8:30 a.m. and I go for around an hour. Anyway, everyone, I'm out of here. Have a good night. Take care. Especially you, Josie. Take care. And tell Justin I say hello.